Have you considered going gluten-free but been too overwhelmed to know where to start? I'm Amy over at Aim for a Creative Life at WordPress.com. This is Cody. Allow me to guide you today to an easier transition to gluten-free living. So when I started, we kind of dabbled in gluten-free for my son who had eczema, and when we cut out gluten for about a week and he had a piece of toast over at a friend's house, he was suddenly just really aggressive and angry, and I talked to my husband and I said, I just know he's having a reaction to gluten. And so we tested that a few more times and my husband agreed. So for my son's sake, we went gluten-free. But for my own health's sake, I cook completely gluten-free. I'm feeling better with less inflammation in my joints. I have had plenty of trial and error, and I feel like I have finally arrived at the place where I can bake and cook without too much frustration. Let me show you where I started. So, as somebody who has always loved baking, the idea of baking gluten-free was not very appealing. So, I wanted something that tasted good without having to depend on a lot of sugar. So, I started with my gluten-free flour mix, and I did a lot of research on it. I didn't want to pay a lot of money for the prepackaged. I hear that Pam's is a good brand, but a lot of those have xanthan gum in them, which I have read that that's not great for digestion. So let me show you what I use instead. I use a 3-flour blend. I order from Ibotta. Go to their website and sign up. They will send you coupons. In fact, I have a 15% off coupon from 2 weeks ago, or this week I got a 20% off coupon for like my entire order, I think. But when I see that they have the Ibotta brand buy one get one free deal, that's when I stock up. I started looking online for recipes and trying them out, and the ones that worked. This one is really good. It will make really good waffles that don't fall. And I can't have eggs, so I even make it without eggs. And when I am mixing the ingredients, because I personally want to avoid xanthan gum, from Ibotta, I also bought this, which is organic psyllium whole husk. So they have a shape kind of similar to like muscle fiber, and they act as the binder. So to every cup of your gluten-free flour blend, I will mix in the liquid ingredients, 1 teaspoon of this. And it works pretty well as a binder, so you don't have as much crumbs happening. I will say that I have tried different flavors of different flours for like more savory purposes, and I do not like the smell or the taste of amaranth flour or quinoa flour. I tried this. They just smell really bad, and I've never been able to find a way to use them that actually tastes good. For hormonal health purposes, I tried to use buckwheat flour, and I think that you can kind of mix it in sometimes, and that tastes a little bit better. I follow Elisa Beattie's cycle syncing kind of eating, and so that's why I bought the buckwheat flour. And you can experiment with different flours, but that 3 combo of the potato, tapioca, and white sorghum flour, to me has the best flavor, most like regular baking. So I just recommend ordering maybe 2 boxes of each to start with. If you have a coupon, just search for a coupon code, and that'll get you going. And don't forget your psyllium, organic psyllium husk, the whole kind. Don't get the ground kind. That doesn't hold your stuff together. And later I will show you those amazing waffles that my son loves, and I make ahead PB&J freezer sandwiches out of them. Because if you've ever been in the gluten-free aisle, you have noticed that the gluten-free bread is up to $6 or $7 a loaf, and that is ridiculous. Although, let me tell you that right now on Ibotta, the char bread, which is around $5 or $5.50, depending on where you go, that has a $1.50 off coupon, and I think there's a limit of 5. So you can use my link, Tia's Racks, for Ibotta down below. And that should get you, if you've never signed up for it before, it should get you about $5 to start with. And once you have saved $20, then you can cash out, and I usually get like an Amazon gift card with that. The other thing that when I went gluten-free that I was concerned about is I just have a sweet tooth. So besides having waffles with maple syrup, you know, what else can I have that really tastes good that satisfies my sweet tooth? And like I said, I'm also sugar-free, so one of my favorite things to make is blueberry cobbler, and that has oatmeal, coconut oil, cinnamon, and maple syrup, and some brown rice flour. So if you're ordering at Vitacost, you can also order the brown rice flour. It has a texture in baked goods that's kind of similar to sugar, so I really like that. And so I will take that or serve that when guests come over, and even if they're not gluten-free, they enjoy that. I had a gal over yesterday and her daughter for a play date on my daughter's day off of school, and it was a hit. I promised my son that I would save him a bowl for breakfast, so that's what he's eating for breakfast this morning. If you are okay with nuts, I recommend the cheapest that I've found so far, and I haven't checked Vitacost for this, so you might have to do some legwork, but the Nature's Eats blanched almond flour, it is 4 pounds at Walmart. That's $19, which is kind of insane, but the other cheapest price that I found was, let's see, it was $11.88 for 2 pounds, and so I went with the 4 pound. And if you think of the cost of a pound of almonds itself, I mean, I can see why it's that cost, so it's okay. And if you're just in the mood for like a good almond cookie or like sugar cookie taste, that's the way to go. Use almond flour if you can. Now for meals, some staples that I do, I usually use my Instant Pot, and I will make fried rice. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio of water to jasmine rice in the Instant Pot, and you can press the manual button and cook it from between 4 to 10 minutes depending on what texture you like. However, my favorite thing to do is different kinds of noodles. Aldi has a great gluten-free section.
Here's their gluten-free end cap. They've got tortillas, bagels, bread for $4.29. Tried it, it's decent. Probably our favorite thing is the pretzels. They've also got other mixes if you want to buy those. Let's see, the noodles are here. This is what I need.
Things are less expensive there. They have a quinoa brown rice noodle. There's both penne and corkscrew noodles that I like to get, and I'll put that in my Instant Pot. This is not from Aldi. This is another one I got using the Ibotta app. It was like $1.50 off, I think, because it's red lentil, and I just wanted a little bit of variation. I think that's probably pretty good with protein. So, and fiber. So the ingredients, the only thing it has in it is red lentil flour. So that's pretty good. And it tastes alright. It says cook from 7 to 9 minutes if you're doing that on the stovetop. I don't like to mess with draining the water or stirring. So I just pour this in the bottom of my Instant Pot, and then I cover the noodles just barely equal to the top of the noodles, and I'll use chicken broth that I've made, or just water if I'm in a rush and I don't have any chicken broth thawed. And for this one, this says 7 minutes, 7 to 9 minutes. I do that on the Instant Pot for 1 minute, and then I release the pressure, and it's a little bit better than al dente. So I would err on the side of caution and do it start out if you're trying noodles in your Instant Pot, do 1 minute to start with, so that you don't end up with a soggy mush. Some of the gluten-free noodles at Aldi have corn in them, and I can't have corn, but I did start out using those, and they work well, and they taste good too. So then we have their brown rice spaghetti. The Live G Free is the Aldi brand. This you have to do in a pot that you can stir. So I don't do this in my Instant Pot. What I do is I bring the water to a boil, I break these in half, and I put in however much I'm going to use, and you kind of have to stir it. And then as soon as it's done, drain. This says 8 to 9 minutes, so you start testing it at the lower end of that, of course, just like any noodle. And then after you drain it, put a little bit of oil in it or your sauce or something, because you don't want it clumping. The most unappetizing thing about gluten-free noodles is sometimes they can clump. But I have had pretty good luck with that brand, and my family loves spaghetti, and I can enjoy it now too, so that's great. Another meal staple we use for a busy evening, like before a Wana Club in the evening, or just a different day, maybe Daddy's going to be at home with the kids and I'm going to be gone, that he can handle, that's gluten-free. We have a Costco membership, and this is their gluten-free pizza. It's just cheese pizza. They do have a cauliflower crust one with only veggies on the top. So if you can find like some nitrate-free pepperoni to put on top, if you prefer pepperoni, that's an option. But we found that that was the cheapest per individual pizza for a good-sized one. The ones at Aldi's are generally smaller, for around $5. That's okay in a pinch, but we like these because we can stick them in our big freezer. It comes in a 3-pack. So I feel like I always have enough for having friends over even, and the kids love the taste. You can't really tell that it is gluten-free, so that's good. We like mod pizza. If you want to go out to eat, mod pizza, you can select even dairy-free cheese, but it has a gluten-free crust. Now, they are willing to change gloves if you need to be completely like gluten-free, but they use the same oven. So I don't know how safe that would be if you're celiac, but they do use a different pizza scooper to put it into the oven. That tastes really good. I don't do pizza anymore because of the yeast and usually cornmeal and a couple other things that I have to avoid now. But if you are pizza people, don't despair. There is good gluten-free pizza out there for you. Let's see, snacks. So prepackaged snacks, if you're a busy mom and you have to send your kid to school gluten-free, what we like, you can get packages of these they are called Pirate's Booty, aged white cheddar. So they do have dairy if you have a dairy intolerance. I can't have these. They do have cornmeal in them as well. The ingredients are cornmeal, rice flour, sunflower oil, and cheddar cheese, whey, buttermilk, salt, natural flavor. That's not my favorite thing because I'm like, what does that mean? Sea salt, lactic acid, citric acid, and organic black pepper. So as far as like packaged stuff goes, this doesn't have any food dyes, so occasionally I'm okay with this. And let's see. For breakfast, we have Walmart just started carrying these rice squares. Previously, they had some that had corn syrup in them, but guess what? It says no high fructose corn syrup, no artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives. And the sugar content is relatively low, so that makes me happy. It's got 3 grams of sugar. The ingredients are rice, sugar, salt, molasses mixed tocopherols, which is basically vitamin E. I'm okay with that as a preservative. So that, or the Chex brand, which has less sugar, 2 grams of sugar. I usually buy that if I have a coupon. And recently, I felt like a really good buy. If you go to the gluten-free section in Walmart for your cereals, you're going to see high prices. The Vans brand, it's usually $3 or more for a very small box. This is an 11-ounce box. And these taste pretty good, though. They have more sugar. They are 10 grams. Now, I got these cinnamon ones. I don't know if they were just redesigning the box or what was going on. It's called Cinnamon Heaven. These were $1 a box, so I got all of them that I could reach, which is 4 boxes. I actually made some fall off the shelf, and my kids were like, "Mom, you're not allowed to do that. Don't ever do that again." And you can tell what I tell them sometimes when they're naughty. Don't ever do that again. They're telling me. But so my kids do eat cereal. I'm not a fan of cereal. Like I like the blueberry cobbler, or I generally eat like supper foods for my breakfast just because I'm trying to get my hormones back in good health. But since it's kind of a ritual that they have with their dad, we do cereal. Now with the gluten-free flour blend made, I make our favorite waffles that I also use as bread for peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, which you can freeze in advance for school lunches.
Remember I talked about 1 teaspoon of the psyllium husk per cup of the gluten-free flour blend. So I'll be putting in 2 teaspoons of this with the liquid ingredients, and so I'm going to start off with that. It's a little bit over that, so I'm just going to add an extra. So I'm going to make it in my blender. It's just easier to pour that into the waffle iron. And one way to give it a lot of moistness is the pumpkin. So I will add that to the wet ingredients as well.
So the light's on, it's ready, and I let it steam up to a minute beyond that because I want them to be really sturdy because they're going to be frozen. And it's beautiful! Nice and thick. So while that's cooking, I want to share with you how you can thicken soups and gravies without flour. You can use cornstarch, and you would add that to the liquid, like 1/4 of a cup to 1/2 a cup of the cold liquid, and mix it up and then pour it in there, and with the heating it will thicken. I can't use corn in my diet, so I use arrowroot starch instead in kind of the same ratio, about 1 to 2 tablespoons depending on how much soup that I am making or thickening. And then I also read that tapioca starch is good, and I have used that before. The method that I did not use is adding it to butter or ghee, or I would have to use coconut oil instead because I can't have dairy. So those are 3 different ways that you can thicken liquids in your cooking without using flour. Thanks for watching, and good luck going gluten-free. If you appreciated this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and click subscribe if you'd like to see more like it in the future. Thanks for joining me. Bye.
Let's get scratching.